this video, I'm going to give you a quick introduction into how you can use Eclipse to debug BLJython code when you're working with BladeLogic. So I'm set up here. I've got a virtual machine running a fairly simple BladeLogic system. I've got my BLJython installed. Obviously I've got my Jython installed. I've installed Eclipse. I'm using Eclipse Kepler here, and I've installed the PyDev plugin. Now, if you haven't installed the PyDev plugin yet, it's simply help, and you can go to the Eclipse marketplace and install it from there. And to be perfectly honest, this marketplace is one of the reasons I would consider upgrading to Kepler if you're not already there. So I've got it installed. As you can see, I'm in my PyDev perspective, and we need to configure it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to Windows Preferences, and in here you can see we've got the PyDev plugin. We need to set up our interpreters. Now we're going to be working with Jython. We don't care about the other interpreters. So we need to just specify where our Jython jar is. Mine is in C Jython. Now it's already picked up from my registry entry that I've got some things in my Jython lib, and I've also got some things in my BladeLogic NSH BLJython. So I'm going to select those. And what we'll see is we actually get these files included down here. So you can see we've got the BladeLogic NSH BLJython in there, but we need quite a lot more. So the first thing we want to do is to actually add in the BladeLogic jar files. So we click on the new jar, and then we need to navigate to our BladeLogic NSH BR. If we go into studlib, we have all of the jar files in here. Okay? Everything that BladeLogic uses. So I'm simply going to select one of them and do Ctrl-A to select them all and hit open. And now they're all in there, all available to me. We've already got the BLJython. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to select as a folder BMC BladeLogic NSH BR, top level folder. Now before we leave this section, I want to set up some of the environment. There's a few things that we want to set up in here. The first one is our Java options. So let's create a new variable, and we need to call it _Java_options. Now the values for this you will actually get by looking in your BLJython CFG file. So you can see here it's these three lines, these JVM args that we're interested in. If I just paste those together into one, we can see that they're all prefixed with a -d. This is a straightforward Java argument. So I'm going to bring this to one line. Okay, and that's what I need. -d, the first argument, -d, the second argument, -d, the third argument. We'll copy those and paste them straight into the value there. Next, we want the BR directory. So BR-dir. And again, we can get this from our BLJython config. And then we need studlib. And that's this one here. Okay. The first time you do this and you click OK, it will take a short while to process everything. Okay, so now everything's done and I'm in my Eclipse. So now we need to test it out. The first thing that we need in order to test this is we need to be connected to BladeLogic. And as part of the connection, we need to have cached our session credentials. Now I'm going to assume that you know how to do this, but as a quick refresher, it's under Options and Save Credentials for this session. There is some more advanced settings that we could go through where you don't necessarily need to do this every time, but this is the easiest way. So I'm going to just quickly make a new project. I'll be back with you in just a moment. Okay, so I've created a new PyDev project, and within that project I've created this test.jython.py file. It's a fairly basic thing. It's going to connect to BladeLogic, and it's doing nothing more than doing a BLCLI call, doing server list all servers, and then printing the result. Okay, so let's just make sure this works. And there we go. We can see it executed, and it returned the names of the 6 servers that are in my BladeLogic system. Now, that's all well and good. We could do this just by running it from the command line. But where PyDev really comes into its own, and where Eclipse is really useful, is being able to debug these things. So I'm going to set a breakpoint by right-clicking and saying Add Breakpoint. And this time I'm going to run it as a debug. Okay, the first time you do this, it gives you an opportunity to use the debug perspective. I strongly urge you to do this, because this gives us these variables. So we can see that we've actually passed in server list all servers, and I can now step over this. I've now got BLCLI CMD, which is a list, and it's actually a list that the BLCLI library expects. Okay, so it expects your whole command to be formed as a list, and that then gets passed to this jli.run. So we run that and we get the result back. We can have a look at this result if we want to. Errors was none, which is pretty useful. Okay, we could, if we wanted to, we could actually drop out here and debug. Okay, so we're getting that value straight away, and we can carry on. Okay, so we've made the call now. We can now actually look at what's in all servers. Scroll down here. We can see all servers, and we can see that it is nothing more than a string with new lines separating it. When we print it, there we go, we get our output. And that's all there is to it. So if you remember from the window preferences, the key things are remembering to add all of the jars in here and setting up your environment variables. The important one being this Java options. Okay. So I'm John Landells. I am the data center automation expert. Any questions about BladeLogic, get in touch and I'll help you where I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.